when it's part of you,
Yeah.
no matter what you're doing, you just want to look good. But it's not about them, it's about me. If I put something on, I already know it looks good. I don't need you to tell me it looks good. If you tell me it looks good, that's a bonus. I'm 63 now. I probably went to one wedding last year, and I've been to one this year.
Yeah.
But I've been to quite a few funerals, sad to say. If you're waiting for that special occasion, it's going to be less and less. So like I said, make every day a special occasion. When I first went to Italy, everyone was, couples are out, and they're all dressed well. I'm thinking, where are these people going? But I realised they weren't really going anywhere. And I'm thinking, that's the sort of philosophy that sort of resonates with me. When I turned 50, that's when it kind of hit me. I think, no matter how you look at it, even though I might have felt still young, because you still think you're young in head, but no matter how you look at it, 50 is a lot of years. And that was kind of a shock for me, a kind of wake up. By the time I got to 60, the shock wasn't so bad. There's only 10 years on, but still, looking around, there's some that don't make it.
If you're to advise a young man, looking back, what would the advice be?
When you're 25 going 30s, think about what kind of life you'd want in 30 years time from there. But what's going to happen is that you suddenly reach 50 and realize, oh wait, what have you done to make that happen? There's still racism, but it's not as overt as it was. I went to a grammar school. School was mostly white, but most of my friends outside that were black. Some of these guys are just as smart as me, and why didn't they end up in grammar school? But there was a quota, basically 10%. The white guys outnumbered you, so they might call you things like WOG, W-O-G, which is short for gollywog. It was difficult as because you're in the minority. You wouldn't get that now. But then also, how do I handle it now? Obviously, I'm more mature now. Back then, I was punching a man in his face.
This episode is brought to you by 1219Styles. For quality bespoke suits crafted to perfection, all from the comfort of your home. Schedule a virtual measurement today at www.1219styles.co.uk.
Mr. Delroy, how are you doing today?
How you doing, Michael?
Very well.
Good to see you.
Always good to see you.
Like
Always good. You're one of the most stylish people I've met of your age group that I know.
A little bit tired. I'm feeling my age today, Michael.
Yeah, because I know quite a lot of stylish people, but
Okay.
yeah, not a lot at your age. What keeps you going at this age to still show up, looking all good, dapper?
I think really it's when it's part of you. It's like a second nature.
Yeah.
So no matter what you're doing, you just want to look good. And you don't have to necessarily be going anywhere. It's just how I was raised. I think I got it from my mum.
Your mom?
Yeah, because she always looked like to look good.
Oh, yeah,
She bought a lot of clothes. In fact, when she passed, she had 2 big wardrobes full of clothes.
Wow.
But the problem was, Michael, she always say, that generation said for sex, Sunday best.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes Sunday best never came. So half of that stuff never got worn. So for me, I'm not going out like that. If I feel something nice, I'm going to wear it. Doesn't have to be occasion. It's just about how I feel. If you look good, you feel good. And you don't need a reason to be looking good.
So, you won Mr. Debonair.
Yes.
Lately.
Yeah. Someone that sort of knows, that I like kind of to dress well, sent me a flyer. And it was this Miss Debonair 50 plus,
Yeah.
which was unusual because you don't really get many male pageants. You get Miss UK, Miss World, this, that, and the other, but usually men, mature men. This is a kind of unique thing. So I thought, okay, I'll give it a go. And so there was about 10 contestants. Because if you imagine, Michael,
Yeah.
it's very hard to get mature men to come out of their comfort zone to do something like a pageant.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just not something that, especially black guys, would do normally. But it was a good experience.
What made you apply for it?
Because I thought, Debonair is about a man that is stylish, presents himself well, has a bit of charm. And I thought, that sounds like me. It sounds like I'm being arrogant, but and the rest is history because, as I said, I've got the trophy to prove it.
Yeah.
That's what I've come to live by now, to say every day is a special day.
Yeah.
So there is no need for you to wait till Sunday for you to look good, or before you pick your best or your favorite.
Exactly.
You doing beauty pageant when you were younger, were you able to do that?
Well, no, because it's not so much about beauty though. I mean, those Miss Worlds and Miss UK, they're about beauty. With the men's thing, it's more about presentation. Because I'm not a beautiful guy. I mean, I'm all right, but I'm not beautiful. Yeah. So it was more about the Debonair, about the way you present yourself. And to be honest, I mean, going back to my age, my peers now, I'm not going to weddings, I'm not going to christening. it's mostly funerals, sad to say, because, they're up there in age. So if I was to wait for that special occasion, I probably went to one wedding last year, and I've been to one this year.
Yeah.
But I've been to quite a few funerals, sad to say. So, if you're waiting for that special occasion, it's going to be less and less. So like I said, make every day a special occasion.
And when you go to funerals, what do you wear?
It depends, because sometimes people say, tradition is black, innit?
Yeah.
But some families might say, look, we want to celebrate life. We don't want anybody to wear black, be colorful. So I try and go along with whatever
What do you think about that?
I know, I think that's cool. But not to wear black?
Yeah, not to wear black.
Yeah, I think, if the person was a colorful life,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, no, let's not talk about mine, but I like mine to be colorful, not just black. Yeah? Well, that's a little way off, yeah.
You are getting to that age of like a lot of people, passing away. How does that make you feel?
It makes you more conscious of your morality. So, for instance, I'm 63 now. When I turned 50, that's when it kind of hit me. I think, no matter how you look at it, even though I might have felt still young, because you still think you're young in head, but no matter how you look at it, 50 is a lot of years. And that was kind of a shock for me, a kind of wake up. By the time I got to 60, the shock wasn't so bad, because I'm only 10 years on. But still, looking around, there's some that don't make it to 60, unfortunately. And I mean, I know when we're younger, 40 seemed old. But once you get there, you don't feel that. So me being 63, I don't feel old, but the reality is that, some of my peers are going. And when I talk about funerals, it's not just my peers, but obviously our parents will be in their 80s now. And so there's those kind of, but yeah. But no, let's not get too morbid. Yeah. We all know we're going to die at some point.
Yeah.
So.
And every day is a journey through that path.
We're born dying. I almost wore a hat today.
You almost wore out today.
Almost, yeah.
I think there's something that does to your outfit in general. It just elevate or makes it just make it loud.
It finishes it off nicely,
In a day, days I come outside to shoot, I wear almost about 3 or 4 outfits, because I'm trying to get pictures for almost every of them. Mm-hmm. So this is my second one today. Yeah. Okay, this is my second outfit today. So,
a bit more formal.
Yeah, more formal. Prince of Wales.
Check. Mm-hmm.
With great trouser.
Great flannel trousers.
Yeah, black hats, black tie, black shoe, black boots. And yet we're good.
Let's take it back down. You said you dressing up, showing up has always been part of you. What was like early childhood for you?
Yeah, I've got some old pictures of me, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5, in my little tailor-made suit, and maybe going along to weddings or Christmas with mum and dad. Still got some of those. So, and I think I remember my dad taking me to Brixton to get a suit made. It was like a two-tone, like mohair, blue and blacky mohair type of thing.
Yeah?
Yeah, nice. So those are the early memories. And all those days, it was all more about dressing up. Because these days, most of these younger guys probably don't even own a pair of shoes, because it's all casual, because that's the way that, it is.
Mm-hmm. What do you feel about it?
I feel sometimes that shoes are appropriate. Yes, you can get some nice design trainers, probably more expensive than my shoes, but sometimes not appropriate. Sometimes you have to look smart.
From your own journey and looking back at your early childhood till now, how would you say that dressing role has really shaped you and the parts of who you've been today?
Yeah, I think it's a real integral part of me, because it's always been there. People that know me, one of the first things they would comment on is that, you always look smart, you always look so dapper, and blah, blah, blah. And people that don't understand it might think that I'm doing it to show off, but it's not about them, it's about me. If I put something on, I already know it looks good. I don't need you to tell me it looks good. If you tell me it looks good, that's a bonus. Well, it's not about anybody else. So some people don't get it, thinking, oh, look at me, thinks he's maybe all that and this sort of thing. That sort of mentality, they don't get it. No, it's an integral part of me to, present well, basically. I mean, because that's part of the first impression. First impressions, makes the big impression, and you only can make it once. But the thing is, it's not just about looking good, you know what I mean? There's something between here as well. and that counts. Going back to like the whole presentation thing, I remember when I first went to Italy many years ago, and I was in Rome, just casually sitting down having a coffee, and everyone was, couples are out, and they're all dressed well and looking fine. But I'm thinking, where are these people going? But I realised they weren't really going anywhere. They were that's how they presented, to go out and about. And I'm thinking, that's the sort of philosophy that sort of resonates with me, You don't have to be going anywhere or any special occasion to look great. And that's what I found. Italy was actually a very nice experience because it was stylish, fashionable, the architecture, the food. Yeah, nice place.
A lot of people who have been to Italy, there is this feedback they always give that they're quite racist.
Well,
did you encounter that?
Not too much, but the thing is, I realised that the Italian love the black women, but they're not so fond of us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I get it. So because of that, and to be honest, these days my philosophy, it's easy for me to say because I've been to Italy, Spain, Greece, lots of European countries, and there are nice things to see there. But I'm less likely to visit those places now because they don't like us. So why am I giving my money? I prefer to spend my money in a black economy. Yeah. Ghana, Nigeria, if you come with me. Yeah. But places like that.
We need to make that trip soon.
Would you say there's any relationship between you having to look good and how you feel up here?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because even maybe it's a day that you're not feeling so up, but you put on something that can make you feel better, make you feel good, and can help raise your spirits. Obviously, you shouldn't rely on that, but hey, yeah, but it can't be. Sometimes becomes part and parcel of who you are. Because if you're not feeling right up there, it could be reflected with how you present yourself. Yeah. So I think there's definitely a connection there. Yeah.
So to be honest with you, quite a number of time when and for example, for Richer Starter we did, and that's the feedback I get from people as well, that them being able to just come outside, wear their favorite clothes, it makes them feel good, and they feel different from every other day. So I think there is a relationship between how clothes can make us feel. It probably might not be like a permanent solution.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think on the temporary.
Yeah, it helps. Yeah, like I said, you shouldn't necessarily rely just on that to raise the spirits, but it's part of it.
Let's start with, what's one thing that you can go out without?
A watch.
A wristwatch.
Yeah.
Why?
I think it's not just to tell the time, because people say you got your phone. Yeah, I know, but for me, I feel naked about it. It's a nice accessory. Yeah, and I feel naked about a watch on my wrist. I learned to tell the time when I was about 4 years old. So, so yeah, watch. To have. I think. Yeah, I like accessories. No, even though I wear rings, I'm not too much into the rings, but definitely a watch. If I leave the house without the watch, it's like, oh my God, it doesn't feel right. You know what I mean? My wrist is naked.
If you have to define who Delroy Newland is, how will you describe that to someone who doesn't know you?
How many words you want?
How many words? As far, as beautiful, as large as you can.
I would say Delroy Newland is a man that likes to present well. But it's not just about the presentation. He does have a certain amount of wisdom and intelligence.
Okay, let me do that. Right?
Yeah, I think that's the key thing. It's like not just about the presentation, but also being, wise.
You said you're 63 years old. Which
60 plus.
50
50 plus.
Yeah?
50 plus.
50.
Well, technically, if I'm once over 50 or 50 plus, the detail is,
50 plus 13.
Okay.
So, if you're you've been here for a while.
I was born here.
I'm even saying on planet Earth.
Yes.
You've been on planet Earth for a while, and you were born in the UK, and you grew up in the UK as well. What was it like living in the UK when you were growing up and what the UK is like now?
So what I think I'm supposed classes like first generation migrants from what they were that came from the Caribbean, where there's Windrush in late 40s, 50s. My parents came over in the early 60s. So kind of like first generation. So there weren't as many of us in schools. So for instance, by the time I got to secondary school, I think there was, of a class of 30, there was only 3 of us black guys. Wow, yeah. And I realized later on that's a quota, 10%. By the time, didn't realize it, but because I'm thinking, I went to a grammar school, and since then I've been around with most of my friends outside that. The school was mostly white, but most of my friends outside that were black. I'm thinking some of these guys are just as smart as me, and why didn't they end up in grammar school? But there was a quota, basically 10%. So there was 3 forms, A, B, and C, 30 in each, roughly 3 black boys in each. So over 90 students in 1 year. There was only
9.
So what it was like, it was quite difficult racially because we're in a majority. So compared to now, I think there's still racism, but it's not as overt as it was when I was going to school. So it's the behavior has changed. They might still think it, but their behavior and attitude is a bit different now. Whereas back then, it was more overt.
And back then and now, would you say that the UK is a better place to stay in than now?
Depends what you're comparing to. I mean, it's probably better than Ukraine right now. Or Gaza. But compared to so basically the UK back in the early 60s.
Yeah, like just all the living.
Yeah, I suppose so. I think we have got more. Yeah, and I think for my children and the generation afterwards, it has become easier in some respects. My generation before me, my parents had a struggle and made it easy for us, and then likewise we made it easy.
Easy for the.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's one pattern of life that the next generation have it easier.
Yeah.
I remember one time I sent my granddad money on a Sunday evening, and it was like, wow, you guys don't know how blessed your generation is, because if I had to send money back then, I had to take bus 282 to go to one place, and it has to be Monday, and to enter the bank, do all of. How are you able to take all of those changes with what the world was then and with the present world, the digital world? How are you able to take it all in?
I'm okay. I know a lot of my peers aren't so tech savvy. I said I'm up there, but I'm not a technophobe. And but it's for advantage. It makes it so convenient. Like you said, I could just send money, right now with my phone, no problem. In terms of shopping and stuff, we can just do that at a touch of a few clicks. So yeah, I'm we got to embrace it really.
What are you wearing today?
Okay, so this outfit was really centered around the shoes.
Okay.
Because I bought these shoes at the beginning of the year, sort of suede and croc.
Okay.
And I realized the whole summer had gone and I hadn't worn them. So I'm thinking, you know what? Today is the day to bring them out. So because it was the shoes, it had to be centered around that color. So I went for the chinos and the brown jacket to break it up a little bit. Just an Oxford button-down shirt. So if I'm not wearing a tie, the collar's nice and neat. So like I said, it's focused around the actual loafers.
Earlier on, I spoke about my own outfits. The grey hat to match the grey, the grey safari jackets, the black shoe to match the black tie. In between smart and casual.
How racism, of course, like as a black person in the UK, of course, racism is not, nothing new to us. But like compared to racism back then when you were in grammar school and now, what are the changes and what has changed in the way you handle racism as well?
Okay, so I think, so back then, it's so overt. Like, so, in a class of 13, there's only 3 black guys. The white guys outnumber you, so they might call you things like wog. Have you heard that term, wog?
No.
Wog, yeah, altered.
Wog or what?
Wog, W-O-G, which is short for gollywog. Do you know what a gollywog is? It's a presentation of a black top kind of caricature.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they used to have on, some make a jam, used to have that as a symbol. So they call you like that kind of thing, face to your face. And, it was difficult because you're in a minority. You wouldn't get that now. But then also, how do I handle it now? Obviously, I'm more mature now. Back then, I was punching a man in his face, if you got to work, or call you Urkel. Remember Planet of the Apes? Yeah, I got to school and one of them white boys called me Urkel. I think, what? Punch in his face. So, but now, you got to be sensible because, especially the confrontation, because there's still racism. Black man, white man, please come out. Who are they aiming for? Who are they going for? You might be the victim, but because of racism, they're probably tasering you or so. You got to think smart. It's like, you pick your battles, basically.
Yeah. Did you get into a lot of troubles with them back then?
Not a lot. I wish I got into more though. Because there was this one guy, the white guy was bigger than me. So I thought, all right, allow it. But to be honest, I had some friends that I could have called on. So if I was to do that again, I won't say his name, but that brother be mash up right there.
I think people don't talk about that though a lot. Like, as I go to the when like I would encounter with a white person and like, not all white people was a white person, and I always feel like I shouldn't have. I didn't back myself as much as I should have.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I also think I was a bigger man. But you'd always feel like you should be the bigger man as well.
Yeah.
So I was wondering like how do we leave the situation not causing ruckus, but like as well like making your point clear.
Yeah, I think we should do that because, I feel like sometimes, and it's just a silly thing, you walk around a corner, you must bump into someone, yeah? I'm fine, I'm saying, I'm sorry, and it might be a white person, but I'm not about to say I'm sorry. You don't have to record this because it's a bit silly really, but I'm feeling myself, why am I saying I'm sorry? You're just as much at fault as me, but it's like almost that white privilege, like, because I'm white, therefore I'm entitled. And that comes across, and I'm fed up with white privilege, man. So, if there's reincarnation, I want to come back as a white man. Don't get me wrong, I don't hate being a black man, but what I'm trying to say, that position that they've got.
Yeah.
The president. No, let's not get too political.
But through your journey, being at its side, because we on the other side, it just feels like is like a boy. Let me paraphrase it well. There's this adage we say in Yoruba land that goes this way, that ọmọ tó ní bàbá òun là, ẹnu ẹ̀ náà lòun náà kò sí yẹn. What that means is that a child who says his father is not well doing or his dad is not doing well enough, he will soon get to understand what is like.
Yeah.
So if you're to look back through your own journey, what are like the principles and the lessons that you've lived life by that you can say has really helped you along your journey?
I think in terms of like going back to the phrase about the father. So it's so when I was growing up, so you learn parenting from your parents, yeah, essentially. So my dad as a parent just went out, worked hard, come in, wasn't very interactive, not very, the soft skills weren't there. You know what I mean? There was no affection. Yeah, I don't think I heard my dad said he loved me or whatever, or gave me a cuddle, which is fine. But that's how he was. His thing was go out and providing food and paying the bills. So he's fulfilling his duty as a father. So when I look back at that, I'm thinking I can't fault him because that's what he'd have been taught by his dad. But as you go on, you're trying to be a mixture of the two. So with my daughter, I'm a bit more hands-on, a bit more touchy-feely, show more emotion. But at the same time, you have to have that kind of leadership. And I think, again, going back to that leadership, discipline was a thing for that generation. Is like anything that was, close by, that's what you might be getting hit with, So, this day and age, social services have been called in and you'd really be taken away if they do half of the stuff. But in the main, it didn't do us any harm because it was about discipline. I think in some respects, we've gone a bit too far with that. When I say, gone too far the other way, i.e. sometimes not enough discipline in the household. And that could be because the father figures aren't around as much as anymore, sadly. There's a lot of absent fathers, which should be the sort of, the family is the backbone of the village, et cetera, et cetera. We're not building great villages because, our fathers aren't around for some reason. So going back to the principles, I think having the father in the house as a strong role model and a leader is something that I brought forward with myself. I'm not as much of a disciplinarian as my dad was. He was just, mate, my dad was funny, man. It's like, he called us, me and my two brothers, mostly growing up. My brothers are younger than me. And like, Delroy, Paul, so I think, oh shit, what have we done now? And then we got to him, he might give you a 50p or a chocolate. Because there's no emotion. I thought he's in trouble, right? But there's no emotion. So, yeah, that's probably it is. So he's calling to give you a gift, and you're scared because there's no emotion. It's like I come here, it's like, it's like, but like I said, he didn't have those soft skills. But that's how he was. But yeah, I didn't love him any less because of it. I just understood later on that's what he thought was.
And to be honest, I've always my own excuse for them is that their own generation, for example, my own grandparents and a lot of my own their brothers and the rest, they spent a lot of years under the military regime. And for them, the fear, the old intimidation, why are you smiling? Life is some days I still even find, for example, some days I still find myself subconsciously in that, living in that trauma of, for example, when I was growing up, you can't just be lying around pressing a phone or just doing nothing. And my dad says, what things? So sometimes when I'm just pressing the phone, I just chat to myself back, like, why am I just pressing phone?
You're alive. You're healthy.
Yeah. Let's talk about your career a bit. What uni did you go to? Did you go to uni?
No. So after grammar school, I went to work. Worked for the civil service. Civil service.
Okay.
And back then, it was revenue and customs and excise back then.
Okay.
But then while I was there, I realized, well, actually, it wasn't really a career. It's just kind of admin work. And so that's when I started looking at the IT. So in the evening, I was doing a City and Guilds in computer programming. Then later on, I done an HNC in computer studies. And at some point, I moved into IT. First of all, it was support, customer support, technical support. Worked for the GLC, which is going back a bit. It was Greater London Council. It was a local authority, but for the whole of London. And while I was there, I realized that, I think that's when I made the move into the IT, because it was a good environment. Lots of people looked like me, etc., etc. But when I looked at it, most of the people that looked like me were at a certain grade. The ones above, look different. I'm thinking, I need to get myself out of this. What can I do to elevate myself? And at the time, IT was just coming up. And it didn't matter what color you were, Michael, or you could be blue, yellow, green, whatever. If you had the skills, they needed you, so they took you. So that's what, helped me to sort of move up a bit and get a decent career in IT, let's say in IT support. So I moved around a little bit there.
We can continue working on. If you're to advise a young man in his 30s or 25, 30s, looking back, what would the advice be?
What, life in general, or talking about fashion?
Life in general. Okay, let's do one. Life in general, then we'll do fashion.
Okay.
Yeah, life in general.
Life in general. So, right, unfortunately, it's not, when you're young, they say the saying is youth is wasted on the young? That's a term something like that. I would say to anybody in their late 20s, 30s, it might seem bizarre, but think about your retirement. When you're 25 going 30s, think about what kind of life you'd want in 30 years' time from there. And I know, that's the last thing from your mind. But what's going to happen is that you suddenly reach 50 and realize, oh God, I'm a lot closer to retirement than I was. And what's the plan? And suddenly you might be just rushing to put this plan together. You may want to retire early at 55. When you're 50, that's only 5 years ago. Away. What have you done to make that happen? So think about your life that you want later on in life. Think about that early on to make sure you've got a plan to work towards it.
What about fashion?
Fashion, you can't beat classic styles. It's less about fashion, but more about style. Because style, I think, is something you have intrinsically. Fashion comes and goes and changes. So don't follow fashion. Because not every fashion suits, everybody,
Yeah.
So try and keep it classic, down the middle of the road. It's not boring, but it's not too out there.
I'm about to ask you a question. It's a this or that question.
This or that.
Yeah. For example, white or black? Which one is your favorite?
Black.
Black.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let's go. Winter or summer?
Summer.
Summer. Winter fashion or summer fashion?
Summer fashion.
Summer fashion. St. Lucia or London?
St. Lucia.
St. Lucia. Okay. Rice and pea or jollof rice?
It's got to be rice and peas, man. But I love a jollof. The
You love jollof?
Ghanaian one. Sorry.
You like the Ghanaian one? Oh my God.
Well, it was a
cut.
Ghanaian.
London or Paris?
London.
Loafers or Oxfords?
Used to be Oxford, but these days it tends to be loafers, man. I'm loving the loafers.
Loving loafers. Single-breasted or double-breasted?
Again, I can't get enough double-breasteds.
Tie or bow tie?
Tie.
Chelsea or Arsenal?
Michael, do I have to answer that? Blue is the color, man. Blue is the color.
All right.